again for another wonderful episode of No Party Preference.
I prefer no party with my preferences.
Indeed, as do I. I think we all prefer no parties. But anyways, my name's Josh. I'm here today with Adam.
Yes, hello.
And today we're gonna. I just wanted to do like a quick little thing, talk a little bit about Bernie Sanders. And I don't even know if he's just the example, I guess, but it's probably going to be more about like the media, how they can like very heavily influence your perception of someone when and it can be completely fucking wrong. So before we get into that, if you want to listen to all of our other stuff, you can go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Game Rage Magazine, Twitter/X at Game Rage Mag, YouTube Game Rage Magazine. You can also follow Adam at All Gas No Trash Official on Instagram and listen to All Gas No Trash Podcast. And you can go listen to Frank's show and follow him on Instagram at anime_syndicate_podcast. And you can go listen to the Anime Syndicate podcast. So
why Bernie Sanders?
So I just happened to listen to this podcast, and not that like we're friends with them or I'm trying to intentionally plug it, but like that Theo Von guy, he's like a comedian. He's kind of an idiot, but
so are we.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he got Bernie Sanders on, like, because he's popular. So he got Bernie Sanders to come on, and they were talking about, he is
kind of a fucking idiot.
He is a fucking idiot.
Like,
I think we're idiots, but we're idiots. We're also kind of regarded too, as well.
Yeah, the gimmick thing of being like white trash. I don't know if that's the right phrasing.
Yeah,
but I think his gimmick is being like a simpleton. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's supposed to be. I don't know whether we're getting the real him or we're getting the gimmick him.
Yeah, true.
As the comedian, as an interview, I don't know which one it is.
Right, and neither do I. As opposed to with us, we are actually idiots. So you're getting us. You're not getting the comedian versions of us. You're getting like, it's us. Yeah, maybe we turn up to 11, but you're not getting a character. You're getting basically us. So he was on this podcast and they were talking about, because Katie loves fucking Bernie Sanders, right? I was always kind of I knew he didn't like guns, and so I was always just like, I can't ever fucking really go with somebody that doesn't like guns. But
how did this conversation go?
It leaned heavily on healthcare. Like it went pretty deep on healthcare, but he was also just kind of talking about his the political and electoral system as it sits right now. And one of the interesting things that he was talking about, which, Bernie Sanders has been labeled a fucking communist and like all kinds of shit, right? Mm. And it's funny because the way he says it is like, oh, what you're saying is not either. I don't know if people are just stupid or they just don't know what words mean, but
socialism and all.
Yeah, socialism and communism are not the same thing, right? And so I did think because he's been branded as a communist for a long time, and I always thought like, oh, maybe he just wants all these communistic things. No, it's just a little more. It's left-leaning liberal socialism, right? It's not fucking, oh, we want the government to fucking give you everything. Like, no, it's hey, if you go to the hospital, you shouldn't have to, you shouldn't be bankrupt if you have to go to the fucking hospital. Like, if you need basic care, it shouldn't end your life, essentially. Make you, what he called, which I actually agree with, which it makes you a slave to the medical bureaucracy or something like that. I think that, like I have said before, we have a military industrial complex, we have a pharmaceutical industrial complex, we have a medical industrial complex. We have like all these industrial complexes within the United States, right? And one of the things that he was going on about is how, there's 100 senators and there's 435 representatives in the House, right? So that's a total of 535 elected officials. 535. He said that basically there's over 1,800 registered lobbyists from just the healthcare industry.
Right.
And so he didn't say this, but obviously I put the math together. And that's essentially 3 lobbyists for every single elected official. So there's 3 lobbyists just from the medical industry that can attack or go after an individual elected official, right? Oh, I can offer you this. I can offer you this to do this. I can offer you that to this. Oh, wow. Right? And one of the things he was talking about that I agree with is like the public funding of elections, which I've talked about here before. I've talked about, I think that the federal government should publicly fund and use taxpayer dollars to give everybody the same amount of money.
Yep.
And one of the things that he was talking about, which I don't know if I've talked about this directly before, but the whole like super PACs thing, the political action committees, where the federal government basically said, hey, like if you're a private citizen, you can't, like you can only give $5,000 or whatever. Like as a private citizen, you can only give like $5,000 to a campaign.
Right.
As a private citizen, to any one elected campaign, you can only give $5,000. Well, corporations were not allowed to give any money. And so what they ended up doing is they ended up saying that it was unconstitutional, because this is when we got the recognition by the Supreme Court that entities or corporations are people. And so the corporation's constitutional rights were being infringed by saying that they couldn't donate. So then what they did is they made this little loophole where you can create political action. So the corporation can do $5,000 just like a person. But then they added this thing of this political action committees deal where like you can spend any amount of money you want on a candidate or an idea or whatever it is that you want to promote. And you can use this political action committee to basically bribe people to fucking vote the way you want them to. And he was talking about how in America, by and large, when our elections come up, he's like, let's say you wanted to run for Congress and you're running against someone else. If they have more money than you, they will win. He said it's 99 times out of 100. Yes, there's the outlier situation where if you're just an idiot and you have more money and this person you're going against happens to be like a really good, legitimate candidate, there are outlier cases where that happens and they win. But he said it's definitely not the majority. It's not even, it's an extreme minority of cases that actually happens.
Right.
So he said it generally boils down to if you have more money, you will win the election. And I was kind of tying that into the whole kind of the oligarchy thing we talked about a few episodes before. It really is the rich people running the show. They're the ones making the laws, enforcing the laws, interpreting the laws. And there aren't a lot of people. I mean, no one in Congress makes under 100 and whatever we said, $75,000 a year, right? So like you're already making 3-4 times, maybe even 7-8 times the amount of people in whatever district you're representing in terms of a salary just to be an elected official. Not to mention all the information that you get and the bonuses and the kickbacks that you get from other things. Oh, I need to get a bill through. Cool. Like, oh, we'll send you and your family on vacation. You guys want to go to Turks and Caicos this year? Oh, yeah, we'll send you there for a month. You guys can go. All expenses paid. No big deal. Pfizer's got you, buddy. Don't you worry about it.
That's disclosed information, though, right?
It is, yeah.
You have to disclose that you were given a gift or whatever.
You do have to disclose that. Now, do they disclose that all the time? No. Do they disclose everything? Absolutely not. But it was very interesting to see because like Bernie Sanders also, he is affiliated with the Democrat Party, but he's an independent representative. Like he's not technically a part of the Democratic Party. Now, when he was running for president, he had to
pick a lane.
He had to join up because you can't go at the Democratic primary unless you're like a quote unquote Democrat. But generally, he is an independent essentially, and he was talking about how, and we're going to do an episode that'll be out on Monday after we record it about the DNC, because tonight's Thursday. It was the last night. I wanted to do that episode like first, but just because recording is the priority, I didn't get to watch the whole end of the last night. So it's not fair for me to comment on it if I don't fucking see it. So I gotta at least watch it. So it'll still be relevant and topical, but that's upcoming. You'll see that in a few days. But anyways, one of the things that the DNC, which I'll probably get into this more when we do that episode, is the people that are down at the bottom of the thing that are the actual delegates that are going to be casting their votes for like Kamala Harris, right? To elect her as the nominee for the presidency from the Democrat Party. Those people are all just like regular average Joe people, probably don't make a lot of money, right? Those people are there. The skyboxes that they have in these arenas, every single skybox starts at $500,000. $500,000. And there's not like, it's not like the teachers union paying that and they get to come up there. No, it's like billionaires and multimillionaires and fucking the super wealthy. And what are they doing? They're buying that box because it's a donation to the campaign. And so if you do that and you pay several $100,000, maybe even millions of dollars, you're going to want something in return. And so as a candidate, how can you truly say that you are an independent thinker when you've taken hundreds of millions of dollars from private corporate interests and they're then lobbying you to do things that they want done? Because, well, they'll just pull your funding come next election. And on top of that, we'll fund the Republican candidate maybe next election. Well, personally, I think they fund both sides. That's one of the things that he kind of brought up too, is it's the same billionaires and millionaires that are just essentially funding both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, it's like, who's going to do right by me the best?
And theoretically, it doesn't even matter what you actually choose or who actually wins the election, because these guys bought both sides off, right? And so he was very much heavily touting and pushing for the private money to be eliminated from political campaigns, which I 100% agree with.
So no super PACs, no...
Nothing. You get, like, the federal government gives you, like, depending on the level you're at, like if you're going for like a state Senate position, well, hell, both candidates, like whatever, you have a runoff, anybody can run. You do you got to get whatever, 5,000 signatures to get on the thing. You do a runoff in like May, and then you say, okay, or maybe do it in May, or maybe you do it in fucking April or whatever of the election year.
Right.
And then you do it, everybody gets to vote, and then whoever the top two fucking people are, that's it. That's who gets to go. And then come November, you say, okay, you two won the thing. The government is going to give you whatever, $250,000 or whatever the number is that like you're going to get for your campaign. And that's what both of you get. You can't spend any other money. This is all you get.
I think that should be great, because then you get to see how somebody chooses to spend $250,000. It's an equalized playing field across the board. And then it really just comes down to who is more qualified for the position. If it were that way legitimately, like, the person has to sell themselves. It's not about the money and who can run the best ad campaign or whatever about X person and basically doing like a character assassination on the person. It's like, what can you fucking bring to the table? All right, maybe you don't see eye to eye with the other person, but give me reasons why this person doesn't.
Yeah, why they're wrong.
Why they're not fit for this role.
Right.
I think that'd be fucking great.
Yeah, I think that's the way it should be done. But obviously, we're probably never going to get there when the people who are in charge of changing the law benefit from it being this way. So, obviously I don't agree with Bernie Sanders on everything, right? I don't agree with the stance on guns. I don't agree with any of that. But generally speaking with this, and I am an advocate. I do believe we should have some sort of healthcare. We should have some sort of I don't know if universal healthcare is the right term for it, but we should have some sort of deal where, hey, if you fucking get hurt, you're not going to get hit with an $800,000 bill that you're never going to recover from. So, or if you get cancer and you survive, that's the worst part. You got cancer, a horrible, debilitating fucking disease, right? And then you lived. But then now you owe the insurance company $2.5 million for your treatment for this whole thing. And it's like, now I just survived cancer. Now I got to work the rest of my life never being able to, I'm going to be paying $400 a month to the insurance company for this payment for this cancer treatment until I die. Because there's no fucking getting out of it.
Yep.
And that's what's fucked is the way that the system is. If you declare bankruptcy, medical debt doesn't go away. Medical debt and student debt are the two things that you cannot escape unless you die. That's it. That's the only way you get out of it is if you're dead. And that's fucking sad that we could literally, we wouldn't even have to peel off any from our defense budget to fucking fund universal health care.
Yeah.
And I mean, Bernie Sanders was talking about how many other first world civilized countries do this for their citizens. We're like one of the only ones that doesn't do this. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't make any fucking sense. And I agree with him on that. It doesn't fucking make sense. And then they were getting into a couple other topics about like, I mean, he's very pro freedom, free speech, which I, didn't really think. And he wasn't one of those like, oh, as long as I'm allowed to say what I want to say. No, it's everybody can say what they want. Me and Katie were watching the protests earlier today at the DNC that they had because we were watching, they've been protesting all week.
For what, Palestine?
Yeah, for Palestine. And we're going to talk about this on the DNC episode specifically, but it is very crazy how split the Democrat Party is right now. And it's very crazy how it's like that two-faced fucking speaking out of both sides of your mouth. They say one thing but do another, you know what I'm saying? And that's why these people are out there protesting. Because, oh yeah, all the Democrats were all in favor of, let's end the war in Gaza and all this stuff, right? Well, they haven't done anything about that. All they've done is help them. And, well, what's even more fucked, which, again, we'll give the full analysis. There was a Palestinian American delegate who was there to cast the vote for his state. I think he's from Minnesota. And he asked to speak at the thing with there was going to be a thing where they were going to do a October 7th tribute or some shit with some of the Jewish people that were there. And the Democrat National Convention declined and said, no, you're not allowed to speak.
Yeah, there was also people within the audience that had signs that were pro-Palestine.
Yeah, and they fucking got rid of them, right?
They
like censored them out.
They blocked out their view, and they just, I don't know if they had them escorted, but no bueno. Yep, that
was very fucking bullshit. But anyways, that's the kind of free speech we're talking about that they keep saying about, and it's not free speech. It's free for me, none for thee. So anyways, but I had this like whole perception of Bernie Sanders that like, oh yeah, he's just some old fucking communist that wants to fucking, that's not the case, right? And there's a lot of people that I think on the right side, on the Republican side, I think a lot of them would benefit from actually not listening to the talking points of, oh, he's just a communist, and listening to the actual arguments. And like, how could you be against healthcare for everyone?
Yeah.
How could you be against, if you're a real American, how could you be against people? Like, how could you be against allowing people to come and immigrate to our country, right? Yeah, sure, illegal immigration is becoming a problem, but even so, we should just be helping them, right? We shouldn't be just fucking, if we run your background check from Mexico or Honduras or wherever you came from and you're a fucking criminal, yeah, get your ass back to fucking jail, all right? Well, don't go fuck off. Don't come here and bring that shit here. But if you're just a regular person and you haven't done fucked up shit, come on in, dude. Like, that's what it says on the Statue of Liberty. Give me your cold, whatever, tired masses, huddled masses. Give me these motherfuckers. That's what made America great, is we had this fucking massive diversity, and everyone had their experiences of being diverse, but the one common thread was that you're all American. Didn't matter where you came from. Doesn't matter what color you are or what fucking God you pray to. The bottom line is we're all American. So that's the one common thread that we all share, and that's what made America great. Not kicking out and closing the borders and fucking, bringing Jesus into school. That doesn't make America great. I think I'm going to do a whole episode on fucking how we can make America great truly again. And get all the Trump people, and then I'm going to say all these things that I'm going to say shit that they don't like or that they do agree with, and then I'm going to say shit they don't agree with. But anyways, the bottom line is I think that a lot of people could benefit from actually listening and not getting caught up in the corporate media. Oh, Fox News said Bernie Sanders is a communist, so he must be a communist.
Yeah. It's like simplifying, generalizing about one person.
Yeah.
And most people could settle for that because they don't want to look beyond. It's also very 1960 or shit. It might be Edgar Hoover bullshit with the Red Scare.
Yeah, the Red Scare. Yeah.
The idea that anything that is opposing the government or can be contested about the government or contradicting ideas or opposing ideas is unpatriotic, when it's probably the most patriotic thing to entertain multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
But people simplify themselves to one. The fact that we have two parties is already problematic because everybody thinks they can find all the attributes that they would want in a party or all the problems and what their solutions are is enough for them. But it's like, nobody's life is that simple.
Yeah, true.
It's somewhere in between. And I don't even think any party really should just get rid of parties altogether because nobody's life can put one camp or the other. Like, you feel one way about something, you feel something for another thing, and it's more of a spectrum, right? So it's like, I think doing that for people to have just two parties or even just have the news tell you what you need to hear, it just makes people more stupid.
Yeah, I agree. I think it does. A side note thing, me and Frank are going to do an episode tomorrow night, which will be out Saturday. There was a decision made by a federal court regarding a machine gun case.
Okay.
It was in Kansas City, and this guy was arrested for having a machine gun. They ruled that the government didn't prove that a machine gun wasn't covered under the Second Amendment. And they said that, well, if the Second Amendment is infinite, then how could you say that he's not allowed to have this? You just made this up. You just said we couldn't have this. So it's throwing everything into like a tizzy right now. Because this case will probably go to the Supreme Court. And it will be up to them to decide, does the Second Amendment
include all weapons?
Because as the founders intended, it was everything. The right to bear the same arms that the military that was going to fight you, that was the whole point of it. That was the whole point of the Second Amendment, so that the British couldn't take away their ability to fight them, right?
I mean, yes, but at the same token, and you could talk about this on the fucking episode, but at the same token, dude, what rational person would fucking need a fucking machine? Why?
Me.
Why?
Right here.
Why?
Because why not? Because I'm a freedom-loving American, Adam. And I just love fucking cool shit. Now, listen, most people, and again, the rednecks who want these things, okay, or the general populace who wants these things, they also don't understand that a fully automatic machine gun's like $9,000 to buy. Like if you could buy one and you could go to fucking Fabrique Nationale, who makes the M249 SAW or the Mini, if you could go to them, right? It's like $9,000 or $10,000 for a fucking fully automatic machine gun.
Yes.
And ammo is also not cheap right now. So if you have a 250 round box magazine of 5.56 ammo, that's like $300 worth of ammo right there. And you're just gonna fucking blow it in one. Man, you gotta be rich to own this shit.
But how many situations are there where those type of weapons show up and it's the result? You know, there's a shooting or some bullshit, and how is it that an average person would need a fucking machine gun for whatever circumstance? Like, what do you need a fucking machine gun for? Other than it's like fun. You can go to the shooting range and do that, but how many more times does it end up falling into the wrong hands?
Well, the practical reason is you really need a squad automatic weapon to provide covering fire. That's what you need it for, all right? You need it to move elements from point A to point B, but if the government decides to say fuck you and you don't have those things, well, you got to figure it out. you got to fucking do without it, right? That's how it's been. Or unless you get a hold of one somehow by whatever nefarious means. But I don't see the Supreme Court agreeing with this because I don't think they want that smoke on their hands of like, oh shit, like. But I am an absolutist when it comes to this stuff. Freedom of speech, same deal. Freedom of speech. You have the right to say whatever you want. Second Amendment, government can't infringe upon my right to bear arms. That includes all arms, including bear arms.
I'm pro guns with the exception that there needs to be fucking heavy regulation on how people are tested, if they're even competent enough to have, or even mentally sane enough to hold those weapons at all.
Well, I think that one of the things that they should add is they need to make these training courses where you go and you, like, I don't know if it's federally funded or whatever you want to do it, but like you have these little things where you go and whatever gun you want to buy, you have to go there, they give you one, you shoot it, you're trained on how to operate it, everything to do, and you practice with it and you get good. And then before you can go pick up your new gun, you have to fucking qualify with it to buy it. Like you have to qualify with the gun and demonstrate that you know what's up. And then additionally, yes, maybe once every like 5 years you have to submit to like a fucking psychological exam or something like that. You know what I'm saying? That's a reasonable thing that like if you want to continue buying guns. Now, it's not like, oh, if you want to keep them every 5 years you have to fucking submit to a thing. No, that's dumb. But it's like, oh, your psychological certification has to be valid in order to buy the gun. So
I just don't know what the most effective means to determine if somebody's sane
crazy
enough
or not. Oh, I don't know, because people lie. I'll tell you right now, people lie. You can't even give them a polygraph because people beat those all the time. That's not an effective means to determine if someone's telling the truth or not. So
I'm pro guns.
Yeah,
I just think that
you think there should be limits.
Well, I think there should be more efficient ways to vet people to prevent people that shouldn't have them, they don't fucking get them.
Yeah. No, I get you. Makes sense.
I just can't personally imagine myself owning a fucking gun. But then again, stranger things have happened in the United States, so who the fuck knows if I'll ever fucking have one, but
maybe. But who knows? Anyways, all right, well, that's pretty much it for this episode. I mean, we had almost 30 minutes anyway, so anything else to add at the end here? All right, well, if you guys want to listen to all of our stuff, you go to GameRageMagazine.com. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at GameRageMagazine, Twitter/X at GameRageMag. You can go to YouTube, Game Rage Magazine. Everything we do is up there. And if you want to follow Adam, you can follow him at All Gas No Trash Official. You can follow Frank at anime_syndicate_podcast. And with that, we'll be out of here. Catch you on the next one.